I'm getting pretty frustrated playing Menat. I'm not going to lie to you. I think the character's pretty fun. I think the character's actually really fun. But there's just certain games where the frustration is outweighing any amount of fun that I am having. And I don't know if this is something that comes with trying to play a very technical character, a very complex character, in a game of simple characters that can do a lot of damage. For example, Luke and Abigail. More so Luke because he's kind of running this game right now. I can play solid neutral against him. He can walk into my buttons 12, 15 times. He can walk into 8 stand medium punches, 2 crouch medium punches, a bunch of jabs, and I can anti-air him 6 times, and it doesn't matter because once he finally gets in, if I miss an anti-air or he gets in and hits me with a crouch medium punch, he's doing just as much damage as I just did to him trying to keep him out, but for way less work. And that is the frustrating part. Because when it happens, you just ask yourself, why am I doing this? Like, why am I not just playing Luke? Or why am I not just playing some other character? What's the point anymore? And it's not that I'm mad that I'm losing. I'm mad that I'm working so hard for such a little payoff, in my opinion. And maybe it's just because I'm not a good enough player to play this character. Maybe I don't understand her well enough. I'm not using her kit to her full potential. And I'm just not good enough to stop people from doing random things or dashing a lot or jumping a lot. And maybe I'm not using the orb right? Her whole gimmick is the orb and she has the V trigger and everything. And maybe I'm not using that correctly. But it really makes me, like, especially when I'm playing against somebody who's jumping in 4 or 5 times, I anti-air them 4 times, the 5th time hit, and I take half HP because that's not an uncommon occurrence. But when things like that happen, it really makes me ask myself, is it time to give up and drop the character? Or do I double down and like really go after it? And I sort of have a list of pros and cons in my head that I've gone through. And so one of the pros is I like the design of the character, and I like the V trigger, and I like being able to create your combos and do flashy things. But the con for that point is, can I do those flashy things? Can I learn that stuff? Am I a good enough player to do it? And can I understand it? It's one thing to do it in training mode, but it's another thing to actually be able to do it in a game and to like get into the V trigger and pick up combos with it, right? That's another big thing, is you can land the hit, but can you convert it with whatever orbs you have left, and can you keep track of which ones you have left? The other pro that I have is I think it would feel very rewarding to actually get it down, to actually learn this stuff and be able to do it in real games and to play the character at a decent level. It's also a character that not a lot of people play and not a lot of people know how to play against, so that would be something that would work in my favor. I think the biggest thing though is like not getting angry. That's going to be the biggest factor on whether I can play this character or whether I can play any other difficult character in the future. Is I have to be ready to lose to things that I know how to beat on my main character, because this character can't punish things that the other one does, and I don't know how to punish some of these things. I'm still learning, and that's hard to accept. It's hard to accept that I just lost to something that I knew how to beat 10 times over on another character, on somebody that would be easier to play. But by far the biggest con that sort of weighs down on me is that Texas Showdown is in about 48 days, I think. 42 days, and I'd like to have a fighting chance. So I want to make a decision on whether I think I have spring break this week, and I think over this next week I need to make a decision on whether I'm gonna actually sit down and learn this character and like really get into it and stop getting mad about everything, or do I just give up and go back to playing Karen and try and learn some things that I don't know? It's very much a balancing act of like having fun but also being competitive and trying to stay competitive. But lucky for me, both these characters are not terrible. They're both competitively viable. Any character in this game is. The game is balanced fairly well except for Luke. So picking between a high and a low tier is not really an option here, or it's not really my concern here. If I wanted to pick a high tier, if I just wanted the best chance at winning, I would just learn Luke for the next month. But my concern is having a good balance. Anyways, this might have been a stupid video for some of you. For others, you probably understand what I'm going through, and you might have gone through it before. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed, consider subscribing.